Hello again, and thank you for joining us. Well, spring has come, summer is rapidly approaching, the warm weather is with us. It's that time of year where we all want to get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. I'm sure each of you participates in picnicking or boating or fishing or some outdoor activity during this great summer time period. Let's take a look at the environment around us. Let me ask you to think about what we've just seen. Each of us, no matter who we are, no matter what our job is, no matter what location of this company we work, has a responsibility for the environment that you've just seen. We don't take care of the environment because the law tells us to. We take care of the environment because this is where we live. This is where our neighbor lives. This is where our family lives. This is where our future generations will also live. Think about all of our responsibilities in this regard. We all have them. Let's hear from Bill Samples, the Director of Environmental Control for our company, about his thoughts on the environment.
Thank you, Jim. Protecting the environment is a priority at Whg Pittsburgh Steel, and we as employees can be proud of our corporation's environmental accomplishments. Our industry, the steel industry, is not recognized as being environmentally friendly. In the making of steel, we use a large amount of a variety of raw materials, including large amounts of air and water, in processes that, in addition to making steel, create a variety of materials that, if not properly managed, could impact the environment. In essentially every step in the steelmaking process, from the unloading of coal at our coke plant through our final finishing facilities, we have the potential to adversely impact the environment. But Whg Pittsburgh Steel has spent almost $250 million to control emissions to the air, discharges to the water, and releases to the land. And we haven't finished yet. We'll be spending another $15.5 million this year on environmental control equipment and facilities. And in addition to these capital expenditures, we'll be spending $40 million this year to operate and maintain those facilities. Facilities that are absolutely essential if we are to meet the environmental challenges of making steel. But that's only part of the story. As employees of Whg Pittsburgh Steel, let us now consider how we can enhance our corporation's environmental performance. Take a look at your job and see if it creates emissions to the air, or is anything added to the water that we use, or does anything end up or on the ground? If it does, take a serious look at your job. Talk it over with your co-workers and with your supervisor. Determine if there is any way that you can do your job in a more friendly environmental manner. If we each one do a little, together we can do a lot. We can make a big difference. A difference both in where we work and where we live. In the next portion of our video, we will hear from some of our co-workers about some of their ideas and thoughts and what they are doing to clean up the environment.
My name is Tom Bear. I'm a turn foreman on a continuous pickle line here at Allenport. We use hydrochloric acid to clean the steel to prepare it for cold rolling. we contain the fumes on our mill. It's all funneled out to the outside to a scrubber out there. We have to watch that we don't get a lot of acid accumulation in our rinse water. If we don't have teamwork here on the pickle line, we could pollute our river, or we could pollute the air outside. It takes an effort on everybody on the line, including the maintenance department, to make sure that doesn't happen.
My name's Russ Neff. We're at the Beach Bottom plant. I'm a coater tenant, and we're working on the paint line here. I'm in the finished paint house. So I'm putting a finish coat on this product after it has had primer on it. I have to be concerned with environmental. It's a really important part of my job. And, if things get worse, we can't have stuff going into the water and stuff like that. My primary job is just to coat the steel, but I have to take care of the environmental part too.
My name's Gary Westphal. I'm a furnace operator at Whg Pittsburgh Steel in the BOF division. My main duties are here making steel. We have to watch and monitor. We have a camera screen here on the third floor to watch any kind of pollution that would go out. We also have 2 cameras up here behind you that monitors pollution. Anytime we see any type of pollution on any of these screens, we have to make a correction. Our main correction is mostly reducing the flow of the oxygen here. We have a hood over top our BOF vessel. We go from our hood through a quencher, through a water system, Venturi's, through a separator. From there we have ID fans. Once all the smoke or the pollution is washed down by water, it is only then is it admitted into the atmosphere as clean.
My name's David Palanchin. I'm number 8 pusher operator here at Whg Pittsburgh Steel Coke Parks, Fallensby, West Virginia. My main concern with my job is keep it as long as possible, do what I can for the environment with all the laws and regulations that are coming down. My job seems like it gets tougher and tougher, but that's one thing we got to live with every day. I'm cutting the carbon off so the doors will seal in better. After so many cycles of charging, carbon builds up, wet tar gets hard, holds the doors out. We cut to make sure that the doors go in. We do have environmental laws now that we have to comply with, and one of them is cutting doors to hold the smoke down. So the door staying out means we start having emission problems. With the Clean Air Act and the emissions, it's just not for the mill, it's for the entire area. What we do does affect the area. It does affect people on the outside. Clean water, clean air, that's what we're all striving for. Things are cleaner now than they were for a long time. If we keep doing our part the way we're supposed to, we're going to enjoy the air, we're going to enjoy the water, we're going to enjoy the outdoors. Everything that we do here does affect us and generations to come.
Bill Hartsook, I'm the operator at the Yorkville Water Treatment Plant. We take the wool and the grease out of the tandem water and the dearmament water in this plant. It takes a while to clean the water out. It takes a lot of chemicals. All of our employees need to know that it's all of our job to help the environment. Everybody has to do their job in the mill, and we'll watch out for leaks and stuff like that. And that helps out a lot. Not just me, it works up here all the time, but everybody in the plant needs to be aware of the environment, because everybody lives up and along down this river, and most of them take water out of the river for drinking water. And if we pollute it, what's going to happen to everybody down the river? So it's important for all of us to do our jobs, no matter where we work in the company, to worry about the environment and keeping the water clean.
Craig Polane, and I'm the operator of the Martins Ferry Waste Treatment Plant. The purpose of the plant is to treat the stuff that comes over from the galvanized line, and we treat it with lime, and then it goes on down to the Ohio River. As you can see, when the water comes over, it's pretty dirty, and by the time we treat it with the lime and that, it's pretty clean going down to the river. It's a pretty important job over here, and the EPA, is always keeping an eye down here, and it's important for all the people over in the mill to do their part. It makes you feel good that you're treating the water and taking care of the friends and and everybody in the valley that you got good clean water going on down to the river.
My name's Daryl Hoffman. I'm a production lead man, Pittsburgh Canfield Corporation, and we're here to talk about environmental waste. At the Canfield plant, we have an electro-galvanized line and we've got a paint line, and they both have a lot of hazardous waste that comes off of them as byproducts, and we take a lot of pride in disposing of them properly. It gets to be real hard at times. We have people putting paper cups and stuff in waste drums, which costs extra money. We have drums for if there's a spill. There's oil dry in there to clean up the spill. Yeah, just yesterday I found floor sweepings in there. So everybody's got to take a part in this problem because it's a real problem. The problem with throwing like pop cans, coffee cups, etc. into these waste drums is we have to pay to get rid of them then, where we could have just had them put in a trash can or recycled. And you'll see off and on guys will leave pop cans sitting around a hazardous waste area. Now they become hazardous waste because they pick up the residue from this air. So that's something that everybody's got to help with to try to cut down on the cost of the hazardous waste. Now we started using a snap ring on the top of the drums that we keep in place all times. It makes it a little less convenient for somebody to throw a pop cans, piece of cardboard or something like that in. It's the littlest of things that help keep the waste under control. I mean, you can imagine if somebody leaves a can lay around in a hazardous waste area, then it gets into your BFI hopper or your garbage dump, you know, it could cause a fine for the company. And I don't know if people realize that or not. And that's why everybody has to take part into this waste management program that the corporation has. We're real proud of the way that we handle our hazardous waste situation in this plant. We try to keep up on it on a day-to-day basis, and I just hope that everybody else in the corporation is staying with theirs as well as what we are with ours.
Now let's hear from the Steel Recycling Institute about another important aspect of environmental control.
Today, every American is surrounded by thousands of pounds of recycled steel, yet few ever think about it. Products such as cars, appliances, canned foods, and steel-framed houses quietly define our way of life. Since 1970, recycling these products has increasingly become a way of life as well. In 1988, consumer products such as steel cans and appliances emerged as leading sources of quality steel scrap. Now that consumers have incorporated recycling into their daily routines, the next step is to think about recyclability when shopping for new products. The 1994 recycling rate for steel cans hit 53%. Steel's automotive recycling rate for 1994 topped 95%, with 12 million tons of steel recycled. And the 1994 recycling rate for steel appliances exceeded 70% for the first time. Those rates reflect growing consumer awareness that products made from steel have infinite lifespans thanks to their recyclability. In fact, in the 25 years since the first Earth Day, steel has secured its place as the country's most recycled material. With nearly 67 million tons of material recycled each year, steel recycling has become one of the country's biggest environmental success stories over the past 25 years. Looking ahead, it's reassuring to know that thanks to the recyclability of steel, the car you took to the drive-in on that first date may live on in the framing of your new home.
I hope that by watching this, each of you understands a little bit better your individual role in keeping the environment safe and clean. You don't have to work in the Environmental Control Department to contribute. You don't have to operate pollution control equipment to contribute. Each of us, by very small acts each day, contribute to keeping our environment safe and clean. We don't do this because the law says so. We do this because this is where we live. This is where our neighbors live. This is where our friends live. And this is where our future generations will live. We have many priorities in this business: safety, quality, environment, cost, customers. Each are important, and environment takes its place amongst our very top priorities. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back with you again in a few months.